Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this new video from the staff of the History of Italy YouTube channel. Today we will talk about the first and proper submachine gun designed in Italy. We are not talking about the FIAT Mod 1915, or more commonly called Villar Perosa, but rather its evolution, the FIAT-Revelli automatic musket, officially called FIAT Mod 1916. The history of this weapon starts from its designer, Abiel Bethel Revelli of Beaumont, descendant of a family of ancient Piedmontese nobility. Artillery officer of the Italian Royal Army, he became a protagonist in the first 20 years of the 20th century for his projects in the field of automatic firearms. In fact, he often worked closely with Fiat, a company that later produced some of his models, such as the FIAT-Revelli Mod 1914 machine gun and FIAT Mod 1915, or the Villar Perosa. The latter is known to all for being the first submachine gun in history, even if conceptually it was conceived for a different purpose, given that the concept of a submachine gun did not yet exist. Conceptually it had to be a simple light machine gun for a possible use on airplanes or for a possible land use. The high rate of fire was ideally supposed to greatly increase the firepower of our troops, but the weapon was full of defects for the use that Revelli assumed. The low capacity of the magazines, the serious cooling problems, the relative weakness of the cartridge used, all combined with an almost non-existent ergonomics, made it a difficult weapon to use. Despite everything, it was still mass-produced and extensively used, due to our heavy shortage of machine guns. In 1916, the use of an automatic rifle for aeronautical use was hypothesized to be supplied to our pilots and observers. The request for this new weapon was issued by our Servizio Aeronautico. The test commission examined in December 1916 the project proposed by Revelli, called Moschetto Automatico Fiat. The development of this weapon can be attributed not only to our Piedmontese designer, in fact the weapon was developed thanks to the support of Fiat of Turin and Riv of Pinerolo. The automatic musket was essentially a conversion of the Villar Perosa double-barreled machine gun into a single-barrel carbine, installing a section of the weapon in a conventional wooden case. It was also equipped with a handle and a trigger of a conventional mold. The operation of the weapon has remained almost identical to that of the Villar Perosa, while also maintaining the characteristic 25-round magazine. Some improvements were also introduced, such as the fire selector switch, which had two positions, one for single shot and the other for automatic fire. In addition, a curved deflector was added to be able to direct the shells forward away from the shooter. Note that the weapon ejects the bullets downwards, just like the Villar Perosa. The weapon was very primitive and in its embryonic state, but the Royal Army showed interest in testing it on the field. In 1917, Revelli's automatic musket was subjected to the evaluations of the Commission and competed against the Beretta and Ansaldo models. The Beretta model, which had a very similar design, won and was adopted by the Italian Army at the beginning of 1918. This weapon was entrusted to our RDT departments, who used it since March 1918. As for Revelli, he gave up. In March 17 he redesigned his project, making numerous changes. From here the OVP. We do not know the exact date on which it was put into series production. It is assumed that the first machine guns came out of the Villar Perosa workshops in the final months of 1918. Based on the serial numbers, it seems that about 500 copies were made. This makes us suppose that the production of this weapon was interrupted with the armistice and the consequent end of hostility.